Welcome back to Old School Sports and episode number 13 of our series with Pro Wrestling Sim. We've simmed about 2 months since the last time we checked in, which was at the end of 2023. You can see it's March 1st, 2024, and we've got a big event today. But before we get into that, we'll check in quickly on the progress that we've made thus far in 2024. Started the year off with the 3W New Year's Bash, big event, almost a sellout in a 2,500 capacity room in Connecticut. The Women's Tag Team Championship changed hands. Pain Train, Alani Hernandez and Gia Valdez took the title back from the American Girls. Another big match that we had that day was an 8-man Rumble event won by Ryan Mooney. The purpose of that event was to set up one of these wrestlers, the winning wrestler, to get an opportunity to challenge Ricky Babylon for the men's championship. Separately from that, also a men's championship match where Ricky Babylon did defend his title over Kyle Howard. Moving ahead, about a week and a half, had a smaller event in Canada, but 3 title matches. Alani Hernandez retained her women's championship against Anastasia Romero. The Good Guys retained their men's tag team championship against Mayhem, and Ricky Babylon defended the 3W men's championship against Malcolm McKnight. After that event, no material news other than, unfortunately, some wrestlers continue increasing their booking fees, which will certainly have a negative impact on our bottom line as we use those wrestlers. Moving on to our main event for the month of January, 3W Live back in Connecticut in a sellout of a 2,500 person arena. Men's Tag Team Championship, the Good Guys once again retain their title against the Head Knockers, and men's championship bout, Ricky Babylon against Ryan Mooney in the match that was set up by that Rumble event in the New Year's Bash. Babylon retains his title with a flash pinfall over Ryan Mooney. The fourth and final event of the month of January for the promotion, 3W NYC, Men's Tag Team Championship, once again on the line. The Good Guys defend against the New Kids on the Block. And Ricky Babylon, for the 4th time that month, defends his title against Garrett Carter. That was the only match of the month for Garrett Carter, whose fees continue to increase, unfortunately. Moving then to the month of February, event in Killington, Vermont, a smaller event to begin the month, only one championship match. Alani Hernandez retains her title against Emma Banks. There was also a injury, unfortunately, the M&M Boys versus the Bash Brothers. M&M Boys get the victory. Marvin McNeil, in fact, with the pinfall, but unfortunately he did suffer an injury that will impact him for some time going forward. Also introduced a new tag team. Ricky Babylon has now teamed up with Julius Dyer. He is back into the tag team events in addition to his men's singles championships, and the Dream Team defeated New Kids on the Block in a match in Killington, attendance of 1,668 there. So not as big an event as some others, but still a solid performance. 3W Live in February, sold out once again. Women's Tag Team Championship, Pain Train retains their title, and Ricky Babylon retains his men's championship against Garrett Carter. And finally, the third and final event of the month of February for us, Boston, Massachusetts, almost a sellout for a mid-sized event for us. The Women's Championship retained by Alani Hernandez over Isabella Baxter. And the Good Guys retained their Men's Tag Team Championship good score from this event as 64% there. You can see we had a 71% score for a Ryan Mooney versus Julius Dyer bout. We tried to have those guys steal the show given their strong wrestling skills, and they did the job there. So a nice result there. Continue to spend a lot of time doing promotions to positively influence our storylines, and we have continued to make some progress there. Tag Team Turmoil, 69 score there. New King of the Ring, 74 heat. And David Carter and Kyle Howard are all once again chasing Ricky Babylon's belt. Very strong heat for that storyline as well. Looking at the medical situation, Marvin McNeil going to be out until May with that injury we talked about that he suffered in a tag team match a couple bouts ago. And Elias David is now about a month and a half away from his return from that tricep injury suffered late in 2023. Certainly will be good to have him back in the mix. Overall, I've definitely made some progress. We've improved to 38.3 in terms of our popularity, so hoping that something interesting will happen when we push through that 40 popularity limit, whether it's ability to perhaps have TV contracts, maybe the ability to sign people to exclusive written contracts rather than the pay-per-appearance contracts that we have going on right now, or maybe nothing will happen, but hopefully we'll find out in the next month or two if we get by 40 in terms of our popularity. Last thing to check in on before we start moving forward is our finances. January with the 4 events was an outstanding month for us. Ended up making over $40,000. Only 3 events in the month of February, as we talked about, but still made over $20,000 there. So continuing to move things in a relatively positive direction. As we think about production, the next logical step for us is probably going to be in-house music. $30,000 a month will definitely help in worker popularity gains. But as you can see, over the past 2 months, we've basically averaged 30,000 profits. So we'll basically be running break even if and when we make that change until we get a little more strength and popularity, but still is realistically the only move that we have ahead of us. In the near to medium term, we're not going to spend $500,000 a month on talent. The next stage is in video production, pyrotechnics, and staging and lighting are all going to be $100,000 a month. Same thing with camera quality. Can't afford any of those. And then a nationwide marketing campaign of $100,000 a month. Small office of $500,000 a month. Nothing else is really within our sight. So just a matter of when we decide to pull the trigger and start spending $30,000 a month on in-house music. Will definitely help those worker popularity gains, but going to wait and see if perhaps we can start signing written contracts when we get to 40 popularity, because while we benefit from the worker popularity gains in the near term, as the workers get more and more popular, they just charge more and more per appearance, and they also may at times move on to bigger and better promotions. So want to make sure that we're in a position to perhaps reap as many benefits of that as possible when we do make that change, which I think written contracts could potentially help us do. So a lot to think about, but we have made good progress over the last couple months. Big event here in Connecticut. Capacity 2,500. You can see the projection is that we'll definitely sell out as we've been selling out our prime events each of the last few months. The issue is if we move into a 5,000 capacity arena, it's going to cost us about an extra $17,000 for that. So given that we're only going to sell 150, 200 more tickets, don't think at this point it makes financial sense to move into a bigger arena quite yet. We will try to kind of keep the momentum going, keep the crowd wanting more, make it more and more difficult for them to get tickets, and hopefully that will ultimately help us continue to grow the promotion, increase our popularity, and at some point in the next couple of years, maybe sooner, start moving our events into even larger facilities, which would be fantastic. And we've got a relatively jam-packed and a relatively expensive card here to kick off this month of March, looking at our wages over $5,000, including the big $2,000 charge for Garrett Carter, who's actually not even going to be facing off against Ricky Babylon in this event, but hopeful that the money will be worthwhile. We'll get a good match out of Garrett Carter and Yates. The only championship match today is going to once again be the men's championship. The hardest working man in the promotion, who also happens to be the owner of the promotion, Ricky Babylon, will be defeating Kyle Howard by a pinfall in the featured match today. And we will get the show started here. First match of the day, Anastasia Romero defeats Gia Valdez. Okay score, but certainly not ideal. Josue Melton and Rodrigo Schmidt did get to that 50% score, which is where we're capped. Felt it was a good match between our two masked wrestlers in the promotion. And hopefully we'll get some bigger scores from some of these last 5 matches of the day to ensure that we at least get a 50% score for today's event. Malcolm McKnight with a victory over Judah Horn. Unfortunately, between the two of them, they didn't quite have the psychology needed to put together a 13-minute match, which was a bit surprising, but everything's not going to be perfect. Southern Gentlemen, Valentino Ballard and Edward Grant facing off against New Kids on the Block, Ryan Mooney and Juan Shepard. Mooney and Shepard, two of the newer heels to the promotion, get a good victory for them. Certainly would anticipate that they'll be getting a shot at the tag team title in the not too distant future as they get more and more experience wrestling with one another. Singles match, Kason Hughes versus Julius Dyer. Dyer with the victory there. Decent match quality and a solid match score. Big one between Garrett Carter and Keith Yates. Carter gets the victory. Unfortunately, Yates' performance worse than usual, but still a pretty solid score. And last but not least, Ricky Babylon and Kyle Howard. Nice score there, although Babylon's performance worse than usual. He has been wrestling a ton, so perhaps it's time to give him a little bit of time off, even though he wants to be there for the fans. Last but not least, big video to kind of keep momentum of some storylines going. Spent a little extra on production quality, big score there, and a lot of the prime wrestlers in our promotion, along with their managers who are involved in some key storylines, get a little bump from that video, hopefully setting up the rest of the events in the month of March. Tapped out at that 50% score. Overall, we could have been a 63, so there still is definitely an opportunity for us to grow past 50. But as we talked about earlier when we were talking about the production values, the investments that are going to get us past a 50 score generally are going to cost $100,000 a month. So we've got to get into a different level of finances before we can seriously think about doing that. Taking a look at the mail, not surprisingly, sellout show as we expected, so that's positive. 3 more events here in the month of March. Atlantic City, a medium-sized event, the St. Patrick's Day Melee, which will be a larger event, and then we'll finish off with a smaller event, 3W New Hampshire, at the end of March. And we've done a lot of work to kind of get backstage morale back to a great point, and we're perfect at this point. A lot of positive presences, a lot of good relationships, and you can see the workers enjoying the catering, the travel subsidy, and helping save them a lot of money on their medical expenses. So almost all the wrestlers have good morale right now. As we've talked about, we have right-sized our PPA contracts a bit to ensure pretty regular action for all of the wrestlers. And being old school, I've also got a piece of paper where I've been tracking the activity of the various wrestlers match by match and month by month to just ensure that we're giving everyone some pretty regular action to hopefully keep them happy, and also by spreading out the events among as many wrestlers as possible. Hopefully, keep everyone relatively healthy in this demanding sport. And we've had another successful month since the last time we checked in. Quickly review what happened after the live event in March. We had our Atlantic City event, another sellout. No Ricky Babylon on the card to give him a rest. Did have both tag team belts up for grabs. Both were defended successfully by the current champions. We also actually did a video angle that didn't include Ricky Babylon just to see the impact that he had. We've typically been running 100% on those, 95% with a above average investment into our production quality, but no Ricky Babylon in the video. Not that we really need to worry about losing him since he owns the promotion, but just kind of wanted to figure out a little bit more about his ultimate impact for us. Another sellout, the 3W St. Patrick's Day Melee, the newer heel team that I was talking about as far as a tag team. New Kids on the Block get a victory over C Squared. They're still working their way up towards potentially getting a title opportunity. And then Ricky Babylon and Kason Hughes stole the show, showed off their really good wrestling skills to deliver a very high score in a men's championship match. And then last but not least, the final event of the month in New Hampshire, a smaller show, the Women's Championship event retained by Alani Hernandez. And we also continued to work on a storyline between the Head Knockers and the Good Guys. The Good Guys retained their title in the Men's Tag Team Championship once again. So that pushes us now to April 1st. Finances extremely strong in the month of March. We made $75,000, so I know I was talking about not too long ago. We might be waiting a bit to up the musical production values. But we're going to go ahead and do it now. Those worker popularity gains will probably help us in terms of attendance. Obviously could result in some of the wrestlers pricing themselves out of our range. But we will deal with that if that's the way things go. $10,000 to implement in addition to a $30,000 per month cost. So in order to prepare for that, we did add a fourth show for this month of April, going to be our debut in Montreal after we had an event in Toronto several months ago, and then our normal events in Buffalo, 3W Live in April, and then 3W Delaware at the end of the month. So hoping with 4 events, we'll still be profitable for the month of April, even after the big expenses involved. We've also got 39.3 in terms of our popularity. So hopefully after we have simmed through this next month of April and we check back in, our popularity will be over 40. And we'll see whether that will unlock any new options for us in the wild world of wrestling. And we'll get ready for our second trip to Canada, our first trip to Quebec for the relatively small event for us in Montreal, as you'll see shortly. Only going to be 4 cards or 4 matches on the card. Quick look at some of the storylines that we've got going. We have added another tag team turmoil storyline. Lonnie Hernandez and Isabella Baxter continue to chase after Lonnie Hernandez and Gia Valdez continue to be chased by Emma Banks and Isabella Baxter for the Women's Tag Team Championship. So we've got another storyline going there, which will be included in today's show. Only 4 matches, as I said, as this is a relatively short show. Pretty significant wages of over $4,400, as we do have the expensive Garrett Carter involved going against Keith Yates. Expecting about 1,800 people in our first foray to Montreal. Introductions before that tag team championship match for the women between the American Girls and Pain Train. Emma Banks and Isabella Baxter have worse performances than normal. So the fact that we still got a 51% score out of that, not the end of the world. No popularity changes. Hopefully the use of our music going forward will help when we have more successful matches. Bash Brothers versus the Southern Gentlemen. Kyle Howard and Rodrigo Schmidt against Valentine O'Ballard and Edward Grant. The Bash Brothers with the victory there. Decent match as well. Keith Yates and Garrett Carter face off. Victory for Garrett Carter over Keith Yates. And then this final match going to be Mayhem against the new Dream Team, which is Julius Dyer and Ricky Babylon. And Julius Dyer gets a bump in popularity. Ricky Babylon and Julius Dyer get the win over Xander Berry and Corey McKee. Video promoting some of our shows coming up. Once again, good production quality, 100% score. So overall, topped out with our 50% score. Could have been higher with better production values, but we will get there eventually. Happy that we now do have the in-house music, so worker popularity gains, although we didn't do much of those in today's event. Will hopefully get better going forward. We did promise Isabella Baxter a 15-minute match, so that women's championship match was relatively long. Kristen Schwartz, manager, increasing her booking fee, and attendance a little below expectations, 1,671 tickets, but still progress there. We are going to upset Malcolm McKnight. We did promise him a title win many months ago. I think it was 6 months ago. Our thought was at some point we would script a win for him and Elias David, his partner, in a tag team championship. Unfortunately, Elias David got hurt shortly after we made that promise, and he's not going to be back until the 17th of April. So unfortunately, that will damage our relationship with Malcolm McKnight pretty seriously. You can see we've got a pretty strong relationship with him now, so will be interesting to see how big the hit that relationship takes after we're unable to fulfill that promise we made to Malcolm. And as anticipated, we failed to meet our promise to Malcolm McKnight, which hurt our relationship. One of the reasons we didn't push things, obviously we didn't have, we could have paired him up with someone else randomly and just given him the tag team championship, but his contract is set to expire in just about a month. So if it had a huge negative reaction on the relationship with myself and him, as well as the promotion overall, certainly could have modified things. It looks like our relationship is still reasonably good at this point, so can't say no harm, no foul. It looks like it retracted a little bit. Popularity at 39.5, so with 3 events left this month, and the fact that we've typically been moving up 0.2 of a point after each event, still have some optimism that we'll get to 40 over the next few weeks. Event in Buffalo right now, only one championship match. The good guys putting their titles on the line against new kids on the block. We are letting that one be done by the virtue of the wrestlers involved, but certainly would think, given the talent of new kids on the block, that they've got a chance at winning. Also have a first blood match between Kyle Howard and Julius Dyer as we try to put together a relatively exciting show here today in Buffalo. Should be sold out. It says Large Sports Hall in Connecticut, although it doesn't matter anything. I need to make sure when I notice something like that that's wrong that we've got rid of the default of Connecticut and we are now in Buffalo, New York officially. get the show underway. First match between the Glam Girls and Fire and Ice. Pretty solid score there of 51% to get things started. Anastasia Romero and Marissa Wynn get the victory over Gia Valdez and Kirsten Holloway. Head Knockers versus C Squared, and the Head Knockers, Kason Hughes and Jordan Cunningham, with the victory. Next up, Josue Melton versus Malcolm McKnight. Malcolm McKnight with the victory. A little boost in popularity for him, although the 49% score there, not great. Hopefully will be the lowest of any of our 5 matches taking place today. Kyle Howard and Julius Dyer now in that first blood match. Pretty solid score there. Good reaction from Kyle Howard. Good reaction to Julius Dyer. And a bump for Dyer in terms of his popularity after he records the victory over Kyle Howard. Last but not least, the Men's Tag Team Championship on the line. The Good Guys looking to defend versus the New Kids on the Block. And we have a turn in the Tag Team Championship. The New Kids on the Block, Ryan Mooney and Juan Shepard, with a victory over the Good Guys. Keith Yates and Judah Horn. Ryan Mooney and Juan Shepard have been doing some damage since they got paired up as a tag team, and they have taken the title away. And that should open up some more additional storylines for us. I mentioned that Ricky Babylon is now wrestling in tag team again. So certainly could see a situation where him and Julius Dyer want to get an opportunity against the New Kids on the Block, although first match will probably give the Good Guys a chance to take their title back. Last but not least, another promotional video. We did include Josue Melton, probably since he's not particularly hot right now in terms of his momentum. That probably impacted the score a little bit, although we're certainly not going to complain about a 95% score. Maxed out as 50 as usual. Could have scored a 60, but when all is said and done, still a successful show in Buffalo, and we'll get ready for the big event shortly. Sold out as expected, and up to 39.8 in terms of popularity, so should be over 40 before the end of this month. And we're ready for the big event of the month, 3W Live in April, expecting another sellout in Connecticut. Get the show underway, introductions for a women's championship match between Anastasia Romero and Alani Hernandez, get a good reaction from the crowd. First match of the day, Rodrigo Schmidt against Colby Hendricks. Rodrigo Schmidt gets the victory. Colby Tyler versus Corey McKee in another match. This is just trying to get some of our mid-card wrestlers a little bit of work, a little popularity boost for Colby Tyler coming out of the match, which is positive. Women's championship belt on the line. Alani Hernandez maintains her title with the victory over Anastasia Romero. Demolition Squad versus the Southern Gentlemen. I haven't heard the name Demolition Squad in a while, but fortunately for us, Elias David now back and healthy, and he's going to team up with Malcolm McKnight. Tag team match in his first match back from that injury, but would expect him to be wrestling in a singles match next time around as he begins recovering and building up his stamina. And Elias David and Malcolm McKnight with the victory over the Southern Gentlemen. The Good Guys versus New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block defending their tag team championship for the first time, or at least attempting to defend it, and another victory for them. Ryan Mooney and Juan Shepard successfully retain the title. Nice boost to popularity for both of them coming out of this match. Pretty good quality and a nice match score for us. Last but not least, Garrett Carter against Ricky Babylon. This one's not scripted. Certainly expect Ricky Babylon to win. and he does get the victory. Garrett Carter, this is the first time this year that we've used him twice in a month, so it's going to be a more expensive month for us, paying him $2,000 for each event, but a nice score coming out of that match. Interview following the match with Ricky Babylon and Samara Lester, interviewed by announcer Jeffrey Weeks on a variety of different topics, goes over well. We're also going to have a promo cut by Elias David and Malcolm McKnight, just teamed back up, and good reaction to that promo as well. Some nice popularity boosts for everybody except for Ricky Babylon. And last but not least, a long video promotion, which goes over very well. Good to see some continued popularity boosts there as we end the show. Could have scored 70, which is, if not the best we've ever had, theoretically one of the best scores we've ever had. So nice to see a big show of ours get a good result. Just one show left this month. Promise to Garrett Carter for a title match successful. Obviously, we sold out as expected, and looks like we are right at 40 in terms of our popularity. Whether that will open up anything else for us, we'll find out. And we'll take a quick look right now as far as network deals. And we do... Oh, nope, only interested TV networks. Still nothing for us, unfortunately. But does look like pay-per-view is an option for us now. Bunch of different potential agreements here. So we'll play around with our options there, but it does look like getting to that 40 as far as our popularity in North America does give us the opportunity to start thinking about putting some of our shows in a pay-per-view basis. So don't have the online capability yet, don't have network television or the equivalent yet, but pay-per-view option is opened up for us, so we'll spend some time exploring that and let you know what we do and what we figure out. The other thing we were hoping might happen would be the ability to do some different kind of contract negotiations. We try to renegotiate here with Jordan Cunningham. Doesn't really seem like anything is happening when we click on that renegotiate button. Click to renegotiate with Malcolm McKnight. Still looks like an informal agreement is the only option that we have out there, unfortunately. Since our relationship with him didn't completely tank, we will keep him if he's willing to accept, which he was as part of the promotion, for another year on a pay-for-appearance contract. But doesn't seem like anything has changed as far as the pay-per-appearance capabilities. But we do potentially have the opportunity to start putting some of our events on pay-per-view. I don't know if a relatively small event in Delaware is the right one to think about, but perhaps our big 3W Live event in May might be worth exploring. And even though we're going to have the noise in these April financials from that investment we made into music for our wrestlers, we are going to try to get a pay-per-view agreement in place. Content is going to be a traditional wrestling show. You can see we've got a list of all of our higher importance events and our normal important events as part of our calendar at this point. We're going to just do a contract for 3W Delaware starting immediately, so that'll be with that show that's coming up, a 5-year contract. Looks like it costs us $15 to air on the pay-per-view network, which seems very cheap. $10 per viewer for the promotion. We're going to go ahead and accept this deal. Pay-per-view is going to view early morning on Monday. Cost per show $6,000. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So it's more expensive than I would have thought. View availability, it's in North America, so it will help our help things there, hopefully. Obviously, we're going to need to get a fair amount of viewers to justify that $6,000 cost per show, but got to start somewhere and figure things out. We've got the show in Delaware coming up in a month. Interesting card. Julius Dyer against Jordan Cunningham in a singles match. Then we're going to have for the first time a rumble among our women wrestlers. All 4 of our face women wrestlers are going to face off in a rumble. The winner will get a championship opportunity against Alani Hernandez. Then a submission match between Kason Hughes and Judah Horn. They have both been involved in that tag team turmoil storyline, but a singles match between the 2 of them. And then the newly healthy Elias David going to get a shot at the title against Ricky Babylon. Also have introductions and entrances for all of the wrestlers involved in the Rumble. An interview with Julius Dyer and Ricky Babylon after the show about their matches. And then, of course, nice promotional video to hopefully get a nice score, particularly for this pay-per-view event. And Rodrigo Schmidt requests a title match by the next 2 months. We'll go ahead and accept the promise. It's not too hard to give people a title match, particularly if we do it in a tag team format, or we could just have Ricky Babylon beat the heck out of him. And we'll sim through the Delaware event. Not the most expensive show for us. Atmosphere backstage has slipped down to being only so-so. So a big dip there, which isn't ideal. Not sure exactly what happened. It does seem like there's typically some volatility. Guessing perhaps with the fact that we're now a larger promotion with the potential for doing these pay-per-view events, that the talent may be looking for a bit more from us. We'll wait and see what we look like coming out of this month financially before we make any decisions there, but not shocking that we may have to continue to investing more and more into the wrestlers and keeping them happy as we continue to grow the promotion. Regional promotion size at this point still, but we've certainly made some progress from our relatively modest roots. And we'll get the show underway here. Solid reaction to the introductions. I think it was limited, unfortunately, by the so-so backstage atmosphere. Good score for the Julius Dyer versus Jordan Cunningham match, but the poor morale, or the mediocre morale more honestly, kept things lower. Looks like Dyer and Cunningham also have terrible chemistry as opponents, so probably won't set the 2 of them up to be facing off again. Now the match to see who's going to get an opportunity for the women's title against Alani Hernandez, and Isabella Baxter with the victory. Moving on to the Kason Hughes versus Judah Horn match. Judah Horn with the victory. The backstage morale definitely impacting things in every match. Last but not least, Elias David and Ricky Babylon facing off. Good score there. the intimidating presence of Elias David always adds to the matches, but Ricky Babylon retains his title. 70% score on the interview with Dyer and Babylon following the match, as unfortunately our poor morale and cohesion among our wrestlers impacting things. The videos, which have been typically running with 100% score, look to be capped out at 70, and nobody really gets a boost from things. So certainly something for us to think about. We'll go ahead and end the show, find out what attendance looked like, and also hopefully get a little bit of color about the pay-per-view. Play is a cult-sized promotion, so that's good to see. I guess because we're over 40 now, we've moved from regional to cult-sized promotion. And it looks like we made $82,000. Take a look at the mail. $82,000 in income, 8,800 viewers. So that's very significant in the context of what we had to pay. So that's positive. That will hopefully continue to improve our popularity. Sold over 1,800 tickets for 3W Delaware. So we'll take a look at what the financials look at the end of April. But we've moved from a local promotion to a regional promotion, and now a cult promotion as we continue to try to move up in the world. Storylines all have solid momentum, but as I noted, the recent scores definitely impacted by the backstage morale issue. But I think that we're going to have the opportunity to perhaps improve that by investing some of the proceeds from this one pay-per-view event that we've had, and then hopefully additional pay-per-view events we'll be setting up will hopefully help us take the finances of the wild world of wrestling to the next level in the coming months. And we've made it to the month of May. Backstage morale hasn't changed. Storylines haven't changed. Take a look at the finances, though, and by far the best month we've ever had. And that's despite the fact that we're spending more money than ever in terms of production, with the $30,000 a month that's now going into music, in addition to the $10,000 startup costs. Ticket sales, you can see it was slightly down from the month before. Merchandise slightly down, but the network deal in the $82,000 there was huge. Sponsorships, now that we have those TV deals available, increasing significantly. So despite the fact that we had by far the highest expense base that we've ever had, with the fact that we've broken through into pay-per-view deals, the most successful month we've ever had, making $117,000. So feeling pretty solid about the finances. You can see the big spike here. We're over 40 in terms of our popularity in North America. Who knows? Maybe at some point we'll start even venturing out into some new territories. We do have Judah Horn's contract ready to expire, and it looks like we can do written contracts now. Monthly written contracts, different contract lengths, pay per appearance, pay per month, signing bonuses, gate percentage per appearance, PPV revenue per appearance, a lot of other things. We can allow indie bookings, ironclad contract. So it does look like my hope that getting to a 40 popularity was going to have some new things open up for us, and it does look like the contract situation is something new for us to explore. And as we talked about, we also now have one network deal with Brawling Live North America for 3W Delaware. We've got a ton of shows with no network deals, but we've got the opportunity to improve things there. And you can see the fact when we moved up to a cult promotion, we've now got the opportunity to have some small networks rather than only tiny networks. So a lot more options for us to consider. I believe those are probably still all pay-per-view. Yeah, nothing. Oh, TV networks too. There we go. Tiny TV network potential, pay-per-view, tiny, and small potential. So before we finish things up, we will take a look for the first time at just what these TV network deals could look like. And we can negotiate them for different events. Do we want to show it live? Yes or no? Primary air day we can choose. Primary time slot. Prime time, 100% of the potential audience. Income per show. Average viewership, our potential viewership. Looks like there's some real interesting options. So next time around, I'll obviously spend some time offline investigating not just additional pay-per-view possibilities, but also some of these tiny TV network possibilities for us. And we do have some very important guys with contract expiries coming up. Garrett Cardo, you'll remember, is $2,000 per appearance. Looking for $35,000 a month, so that is not necessarily something that's going to work for us at this point. But maybe we can get that down a bit if we start sharing some pay-per-view and merchandise revenues with these guys. A lot of different things for us to consider. So feels like we've definitely made some progress over the 3.5 years that we've been running the promotion at this point. We've got the popularity up over 40. We're a cult promotion. Just had a huge spike in our earnings from our first pay-per-view event. Got the opportunity to consider those pay-per-view and TV contracts now. And as I mentioned, we do have the opportunity to consider written contracts, although probably are going to want to have a better feeling and a better understanding of exactly how much money we can make from some of these PPV and TV contracts before we sign any very large and expensive deals. But the Judah Horn contract, $5,000 a month, maybe something for us to think about. He's been an increasingly important wrestler for us. You can see he's only a mid-card guy for us at this point, but he does have pretty good wrestling skill, pretty good entertainment value, decent stamina. He's been a 2-time champion with his partner Keith Yates. So a lot to consider, but have definitely made some progress over these last 4 months with the Wild World of Wrestling promotion. And as I mentioned, next time I check in, we'll have a lot more to say about network deals and written contracts with our talent as we continue trying to grow the Wild World of Wrestling to become an even more prominent professional wrestling promotion. Those of you who have more experience with the game would love any thoughts and suggestions on the written contracts and the TV contracts. Until our next time, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.